Welcome back, dear students. Today we are going to start with the part 2 of our chapter 4, Algorithms and Flowcharts. In the previous part, we had discussed about algorithms, and in this part 2, we are going to talk about flowcharts. Okay, so what are flowcharts? Let's discuss. Now, flowchart is a pictorial representation of steps or an algorithm used to solve any particular problem. In simple words, students, we had seen that we write whenever we want to solve any problem, we write an algorithm. We can write an algorithm, okay, which is written in a sequential manner in English like language, right? It is written with words, right? Now, to create an what is a flowchart? Flowchart is the pictorial representation of your algorithm. Okay. Now, the process of drawing a flowchart for an algorithm is known as flowcharting. Simply put, these two sentences in one line is that a pictorial representation of an algorithm is flowchart, and the method of drawing or the process of drawing a flowchart is called as flowcharting. When you draw a flowchart, you are flowcharting. Okay, then it graph what flowchart graphically represents the logic needed to solve a particular programming problem. Okay, instead of reading, okay, we will look at the flowchart and we will understand all everything about the problem and how to solve that problem. That's what a flowchart does. Okay, now just as a picture is worth thousands of words. See, students, when you look at a picture, it's a very old proverb or a saying that a picture is worth thousand words. That means a person can write thousands and thousands of words on a single picture, based on a single picture. While looking at a single picture, you can write thousand words about it. Okay, in the same manner, similarly, a flowchart provides a much better way of solving a problem than writing a lot of descriptive text. Okay, students. So, instead of writing descriptive text like we did in the algorithm for flowchart, what are we going to do? We are going to create a picture or flowchart with the help of different symbols. Okay, so we are going to learn different symbols, and different symbols will represent different types of instructions which are connected to each other with the help of flow lines. So there are something that are called as flow lines which are going to connect different instructions. Okay, let's talk about it. What are the different symbols that are used in a flowchart? Different symbols and what are their functions in a flowchart? So first type of symbol is this oval box, which is called as the start stop box. Start stop box. Okay, now what is the use of this start stop box? It is used in the beginning and ending of a flow chart. Okay, so you want to start your flow chart or you want to end your flow chart, you will always draw this symbol. So flowchart always starts with this box and it also ends with this box, which is called as the start or stop box. Is it clear, students? I hope it is clear. Now, next type of symbol that is used is this symbol, this symbol, which is called as the input or output box. Okay, and what is it used for? It is used for accepting inputs or giving output of the program. Okay, so this type of box, okay, is called as the input output box, which is used for accepting inputs and giving output of the program. Okay. Next, this rectangular box is a processing box. Okay, this processing box is used to write the processing instructions and for doing different mathematical calculations. Okay, you remember students, we wrote an algorithm to input the three numbers, and then we calculated the sum of those numbers, and then we also took the average. Okay, so the formula for average was what? A plus b plus c, the whole bracket divided by 3. So that formula will be written inside this processing box. Okay, so it is used for writing the processing instructions and doing the calculations. Okay, which box? The processing box is used for doing the calculations. Okay, students. Now, the next symbol that is used is the decision box. Is the decision box. The decision box is also known as the condition box. Okay. Now, this decision or condition box is used for checking or applying any condition in the program. If the program has any specific types of conditions, then we are going to use decision or condition box. Okay. The next is the flow lines. See, there are 4 flow lines. Okay, one going towards the right, one moving towards the left, one moving towards the top, and then one moving towards the bottom. So there are 4 types of flow lines. What is the work of the flow lines? The purpose of the flow lines show the direction in which the control of the program is moving. Okay, in which direction the control of your program is moving, that is shown by your flow lines. Now these arrows are used to connect various geometrical symbols in a flowchart. All these are geometrical symbols, and to connect them we use different flow lines, and these flow lines also show in which direction the control of the program is moving. Okay, students. Next symbol is the connectors. Okay, what is the use of connectors? These connectors are used to connect one part of the flowchart to another. Okay, there are 2 types of connectors, we'll discuss them. Okay, on page and off page connectors. Okay, but basically what is the use of the connectors? It is used to connect one part of flowchart to another part. Okay, because many a times what happens is that a flowchart is so long that it takes many pages. Okay, so for connecting many pages or many parts of the flowchart, connectors are used. Okay, so these are different symbols that we are going to use in creating different flowcharts. The start stop box, the input output box, processing box, decision or condition box, flow lines, and connectors. Okay, let's see what are different features of flowchart. Okay, a flowchart should have only one start and stop box or start or stop symbol. That means there should be only one start symbol and there should be only one stop symbol. Okay, inside a single flowchart, you cannot use more than one start or stop box. Okay, so this is the first. Then next, the general direction of flow in any flowchart should be from top to bottom or from left to right. That means a flowchart should mostly have this flow line from top to bottom or from left to right. Okay, next, the flow lines should not cross each other. Flow lines should not cross each other. That means they should not intersect each other. This flow line should not intersect with this flow line. Okay, they should not cross each other. The next is that in a flow, if a flow chart occupies more than one page, then off page connector should be used to direct the flow of information. I told you about connectors. So when we whenever a flowchart occupies more than one page, then we are going to use connectors. And which type of connector? An off page connector. Next, so these were some of the features of flowchart. Now let's look at an example of flowchart. So first let us see the process of making tea. Okay, process of making tea. Let's draw a flowchart for the process of making tea. So see, look over here, the start box is given. Okay, so this is a symbol for the start box, and inside it start is written. Okay, so and we have already seen that an algorithm a flow chart always starts with a start stop box and ends with a stop box, okay, which look similar, but inside the start box start is written and inside the stop box stop is written. Okay, so next is the input, and this is a flow line. Yes, this flow chart is flowing from top to bottom. Look at this flow line. Okay, the next step, take a pan, water, sugar, tea leaves and milk. We need to have these things. These things are our input, yes or no, which are used to make the tea. Tea is the output. Yes, so because these things are input, it is written inside this kind of box, which is the input slash output box. Okay, then these rectangular boxes denote what? They denote the processing box. So whatever we are going to do, whatever instructions we are going to follow with these input will be written inside the processing boxes. Okay, so what is written? Put pan on the gas burner and pour hot water. Then turn on the gas. In a sequential manner, everything is written. Then put some tea leaves when water boils. Okay. Then put some sugar and add milk. Okay, all these are processing instructions. After processing, take off the pan. From here to here we had all processing instructions. Whatever processing was done on these input is written inside the processing box. Okay, and the next is we get the output. After processing we take off the pan. Why? Because our output is ready. So sieve it in a cup and serve the tea hot. So that is written in the output box, and after serving the tea we will use the stop box. Okay, I hope this flowchart is very clear to you. So this flowchart is a pictorial representation of a algorithm. Okay, the next example is to calculate the sum, difference and product of two numbers. That means we are going to do three things. We are going to calculate sum, difference and product of two numbers. Okay, so let's look at the flow chart. We will always start with the start box. Okay, then the flow line, which is going from top to bottom. Then we need to input how many numbers? Two numbers. So input two numbers, A and B. Then a flow line. Now because these were input, they were written in the input output box. Then we need to calculate the sum now first. So sum, will write formula for sum equals to A plus B, and then we will print the sum, because printing is an output type of operation. That's why it is written inside the output box, and this is a mathematical type of function. So that's why we are using processing box over here. This is an output box. Okay, then Then we will again write the processing instruction difference equals to a minus b. We need to print the difference also, and then we'll print the difference in the output box. Then we'll write the formula for product equals to a asterisk b or a into b, and then we will print the product, and all the output is finished. Now we will come to the stop box. So these were the two very simple flowcharts. Okay, now let's move ahead. Yeah, connectors. Connectors are of two types. Okay, on page connector, which is a what symbol is a circle. Okay, on page connector is used to join parts of flowchart contained within the same page. Okay, if there are different parts of a flowchart, but if they are within the same page, then we will use this circular connector, which is also called as the on page connector. Okay, but if we have different parts of an flowchart on different pages, not on same pages, then we will use this connector, which is called as the off page connector. So off page connector is used to join the parts of a flowchart on different pages. Okay, the next is an example. See example 3, find out the greatest of two numbers. We have already done this one in the algorithm. So let's look at the flow chart. Okay, find the greatest of two numbers. Okay, so look at the algorithm. Start box. Okay, then input box, read a and b or input a and b. Okay, then see this box is the condition box. This box is called as the condition box. Okay, so if a equal to b, okay, this is a condition. It can be true, it can be false. This condition can be true, this condition can be false. So what is written inside the condition box? Okay, is a equal to b. If a is equal to b, if it is true, if it is yes, then it will come over here and it will print the output box. What is written inside the output box? Both numbers are equal. If this condition is true, then it will come over here. Okay, both numbers are equal, and then it will come from here and it will stop. Yes or no? Okay, it will come over here and it will stop. But if it is no, if a is not equal to b, then is a greater than b, then again one decision box and it will come over here, is a greater than b. This will also have two answers, yes and no. Okay, if a is greater than b, its answer is yes, then the output box will show a is greater and then it will come to stop. Okay, but if a is greater than b, if the answer is no, then if a is not greater, then obviously b will be greater. So in the output box we will print b is greater and then we'll come to stop. So this is a very simple flow chart. Okay, this is a very simple flow chart which also contains the decision box to find the greatest of two numbers. Okay, students, next. Now, what are the advantages of a flow chart? Okay, advantages of a flow chart. The first advantage is the communication. The pictorial representation of a flow chart provides better communication. Okay, if I give you a, a pictorial representation of something, it will be easier for you to understand. Okay, so a pictorial representation of a flow chart provides better communication. It is easier for the program to explain the logic of the program. Okay. Then effective analysis. Okay, it is a very useful technique as flowchart is a pictorial representation that helps the programmer to analyze the problem in detail. It is nearly same to this point. If the programmer understands something, the logic of the program clearly, then it is very easy to effectively analyze the problem. Okay. Then proper documentation. Okay, flowchart serves as a good program documentation which is needed for various purposes to solve the problems. Okay. So whenever students in the real IT world, a software is developed, before developing a software they will always write the algorithm, and then they will create a flowchart for that particular software, and then they will put these two things inside the documents. Even if they don't put the algorithm, they have to insert the flowchart in the documentation of the any software. Okay, so for proper documentation also flowchart is needed. Then efficient coding. Okay, flowchart acts as a roadmap for the programmers. It gives a clear idea to the programmers to write a program. Okay. Then proper debugging. Now see students, what is debugging? Bug. If you are designing any software, you must have heard, okay, that there is a bug or something like that. If you have used software, you might have seen that sometimes some software don't work properly. So what do we say? That the software has a bug in it. Okay. Okay, and we need to remove that bug. Okay, remove that problem from the software. So this process of removing the bugs from the software or a program is called as debugging. So for proper debugging, okay, using a flowchart, we can systematically detect and locate and remove the mistakes from the program. So removing mistakes from the program is debugging, and debugging becomes very easy if we are using a flowchart, because now we'll exactly know at which point the problem is coming because of this flowchart. Okay. Then efficient program maintenance. Okay, the maintenance of operating a program becomes easy with the help of a flowchart. Okay, now if you are using a program, okay, or a software, okay, and if when do we want to do the maintenance? When there is some problem. Okay, so while maintaining the problem a software, we can use the flowchart to understand all the logic. Okay, and it enables the programmer to put in more efforts. Okay, so for maintenance of any particular program or software, a flowchart is very important. Now let's talk about certain disadvantages of a flowchart. Okay, the first disadvantage is that complex logic. Sometimes, not always, sometimes a program logic is very complicated. In that case, a flowchart becomes very complex and clumsy. Not always, but in certain programs are always exceptions. In certain programs, the logic is very complicated, and in that case, if you use a flowchart, it might happen that you may not understand the logic of the program. In those times, it is not good idea to use the flowchart. Then alterations and modifications means bringing change to your program. Okay, if alterations are required, then flowchart may require a complete redrawing. Suppose you have created any you have changed a sorry suppose you have done some changes in your program. If you do even a small change in your program, you may need to completely redraw your flowchart. Okay, so if you are a person or a programmer who constantly changes the program, then it might be difficult for you to create flowchart, because you may have to again and again redraw the flowchart. Okay, next is reproduction. Okay, reproduction, a flowchart symbols cannot be typed. You cannot type flowchart symbols. Okay, that's why reproduction of a flowchart becomes a problem. Okay, so these are certain disadvantages of the flowchart. In the next lecture, we will look at some of the algorithms, examples of algorithms and flowcharts. Okay, till then, take care of yourself and be well. Thank you.